must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
Viewers, good morning Africa, wherever you are. We are looking at the rise from the ashes of the judiciary of the Republic of Kenya. For the last 2 years, since the nullification of elections of 2017, the judiciary of the Republic of Kenya has been on the headlines and in every newspaper worldwide, nationally, regionally, and Africa at large. The nullification of that election brought what we call a dual system of courage of justice.
That the presidential election held on 8th August 2017 was not conducted in accordance with the Constitution and the applicable law, rendering the declared results invalid, null, and void.
The justice that is demanded by civil society, international civil society, and the local civil societies, and the justice demanded by the interest of the nation. Given the two, which one do Kenyans want? Do they want the interest of the nation? In the interest of the nation, President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta decided to go back to campaign in order to show the world that he was able, and he is able, and he was the winner. The campaigns took place, an election was reconducted. For the second time, Uhuru emerged the winner of that election. From then, the judiciary has never been a judiciary for the people of Kenya. It has been a judiciary commanded, supported, equipped logistically by either local NGOs or international NGOs that tell them on what to do, not to do. And above all, the situation of judicial officers themselves being activists. We have seen a number of judges acting like activists on the streets, making decisions that are not in the interest of the judiciary and not in the interest of the country at large. The release of terrorists or alleged terrorists from courts using the law, and then the terrorists return to kill many Kenyans, is one of the factors that has caught our eye. In Africa School of Thought, we believe that Chief Justice Maraga and his entire team, or Chief Justice Maraga, the Deputy Chief Justice, Madam Mwiru, have not done a service for this country. They have misused the powers conferred upon them by the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya to either do politicking or accuse the executive of being political or being a witch hunter against the judiciary. Time and time again, President Uhuru Kenyatta has pumped in money in the judiciary to raise the standards of the employees of the judiciary, to give the judges freedom and welfare that they are able to conduct their affairs without interference. Is it time now for the Kenyans to say we have had enough of a bad judiciary? Is it time now for us to fight and for Africa to rise up Because we see a lot of shrinkage of constitutionalism being done by the judges. If you look at what the judges in Malawi did, they did it in the morning, they reversed it in the afternoon, they ate it during dinner. Is this what Kenyans want? I leave it to you, Kenyans. Our hopes lie on the judicial service, the new judicial service system that has been put there. And hopefully, and only hopefully, that one day we shall rise from the ashes of corruption. Thank you.
In the fight against corruption, it has been demonstrated throughout the world that unless you sustain the war, and it is a war, remember that there are individuals, not only in Nigeria, but throughout the world, who suckle from the breasts of corruption. And they are not just about to win themselves off the suckling. They must be forced out of it, and they'll fight back. Because there are individuals, even in government, in all sectors of government, who now take their children to school on the basis of money corruptly acquired. They live in houses that are corruptly acquired. They do everything on the basis of things that are acquired through corruption. So when you want to stop it, they are going to kill you. They are going to ensure that you are neutralized. These are the people that you are fighting against, because these are individuals whose conscience is dead. And they are going to do anything on earth to prevent you. In fact, when one chooses to fight corruption, one must remember that he or she can't be eliminated at all times. And what President Buhari, and indeed any other president in the world, must do is to recruit the population. If the population has been wedded to the idea that corruption is a bad thing, then that is the beginning of the success of that battle. When I see, for example, your former Minister for Petroleum being investigated in the United Kingdom without being a sadist, I'm very happy. Because if you look at the wealth that he is alleged to have accumulated, that is unexplained wealth. Even if he lived for 1,000 years, she would never make that kind of money. James Sibori, who was prosecuted, convicted, and served sentence in the United Kingdom. What lacks in Africa is punishment. Impunity is alive and well in Africa. And we, the electorate, as I say times without number, are in the business of celebrating thieves. We must stop. Yesterday, Barrister Farana said it very well, that we camouflage theft by giving them nice English names: money laundering, fraud, embezzlement, and all those veneers that make them look as if it is some kind of nice game. Let us call these men and women by the right name. They are thieves, stealing on an industrial scale. They are murderers. And once we begin to call them like that, and they have a mark of Cain upon their forehead, and we shun them. Has it been done in African countries? Yes, it has been done. And I keep on repeating, in countries such as Tanzania, they are being dealt with. In Rwanda, they are being dealt with. In Mauritius, they are being dealt with. In Botswana, they are being dealt with. Once you begin to deal with them, then the others who may want to behave like them will begin to take the cue. We must, in the nature of things, earn what we earn through the sweat of our brow. That is the only way in which Africa will realize their potential. Many of these individuals who are in positions of leadership in Africa don't want to leave because they are thieves, and they are scared. They are scared that if they left office, they would be prosecuted. And my view is that they should be prosecuted. You know, individuals such as Hissène Habré, who we know what he did, was it in Chad, are a good example to the leadership that impunity will not thrive. Because I've been talking to a friend of mine from the Cameroons who tells me what is happening in their country right now. And other African countries are blind to it. It doesn't even occupy the headlines of the neighboring newspapers of the country's neighbors' newspapers. Yet the Cameroon now should be in the same position as we see the conflict in Catalan in Spain. Yet we are attacking it in page 13 in newspapers in Nigeria, in Liberia, and other countries. The time has come that Africa must learn and realize that the world is not bothered about Africa. The world is only bothered about Africa when they want to take the resources of Africa. Then they bother. They want oil, they bother. And I'm using the word bother in a very deliberate fashion, not in the traditional orthodox fashion. They bother when they want to take our timber. They bother when they want to take our bauxite, when they want to take our coke, when they want to take our uranium. But they don't bother about us. They come to our continent without disrespecting the elephant, and they want to preserve the elephant so that they can come and watch the elephant, but they don't care if 100 Africans die. They want to preserve our monkeys. They want to preserve our leopards and our other animals, but they don't care about us. To them, Africa is a zoo of sorts. And until the day that we Africans realize that we are on our own, we are going nowhere. And very soon they are going to shut us out, if they have not shut us out already. We'll not go to the United States of America, we'll not go to Europe, and I'm happy that we are being forced to stay in Africa. Let us stay in Africa and build Africa. I mean, what does Africa lack in terms of resources? What do we lack? If it is solar energy, which continent is capable of producing solar energy to light this continent and the entire earth? If it is hydroelectricity, what can we not generate? If it is minerals, if we wanted to make bombs, if we should, where do they get their uranium from? If it is timber, what don't we have? If it is human resources, we are 2 billion of us. And we are people who have intelligence. And yet we are kept in a constant state of conflict. The Europeans, the French persuading their former colonies that they are more French than they are Yoruba. They are more French than they are Wolofs and Mandinkas. The British persuading us that we are more British than we are Ibibio or Yoruba. And of course, when we find ourselves in that schizophrenic state, then we engage in internal conflict and they sell their arms to us. Tell me, which African country makes guns? None. I think Africans must recognize that bad governance is harmful to their very well-being, not only for the current generation, but generations yet to be born. This is a continent that has always had potential. These are a people that have always had potential. But since we regained our independence from the colonialists, African leaders in many countries have consistently demonstrated that they are not working in the interest of their people. And that is sad, because many of the individuals who occupied positions of leadership are still beholden to the colonial masters. We see former French colonized nations, leaders who are beholden to Paris, those who are colonized by Portugal, beholden to Lisbon, those who are colonized by Belgium, beholden to Brussels, those colonized by the United Kingdom, beholden to London, and the single country that was colonized by Spain, Equatorial Guinea, beholden to Madrid. And this is tragic. Of course, currently, many African leaders are getting beholden to Beijing, and progressively the United States of America in Washington. The net effect is that the African agenda is being sacrificed to the detriment of the peoples. And we have examples which are live as I speak. The problems in the Cameroon, the problems in Togo, the problems in South Sudan, the problem in Central African Republic, in Mali, in Mauritania. And these are sad things, and the tragic thing is that the African Union appears to be helpless in this situation. Africa has been victimized by systems of government which we do not understand and which are not serving us well. And the time is now to wake up and to begin to find African solutions to African problems. Is it doable? Yes, it is, but we must wake up from our slumber, because those who are in positions of leadership are quite comfortable with the situation as it is. We must have something in the nature of an Arab Spring. The Arab streets woke up and they told their leaders, you are going to do that which is in our best interest. Unfortunately, some of the gains made after the Arab Spring have been clawed back. And that is a lesson for us, that if you regain your independence, you must remain eternally vigilant, because the forces of reaction are very persistent. You know what is amazing about the African Union, which is the immediate success of the OAU, is that it's beginning to let Africa down. I was amazed about a month ago when Zimbabwean president, whom I respected in his early days as a freedom fighter and as a man of vision and intellect, when he went to the African Union and made a donation of $1 million, and the African Union accepted it, in a situation where the people in Zimbabwe are suffering, where there is almost 80 to 90% unemployment. And the reason why the African Union has become, as you rightly say, a toothless bulldog is because there are no leaders who are true crusaders for the agenda of the African Union in the manner that we had in the early days, when we had Nkrumah, when we had Nyerere, when we had Haile Selassie, when we had Gamal Abdel Nasser. Today, in a very perverted concept of non-interference in the affairs of other nations, and in a perverted understanding of the idea of sovereignty, people are not their brothers and sisters' keepers, so that we know that there is a festering wound in South Sudan, and we are doing nothing about it. We know there is a festering wound in the Cameroons, and we are doing nothing about it. A festering wound in Togo, and we are doing nothing about it. And even when the leaders congregate in Addis Ababa for their annual jamboree, they don't discuss these problems. Right now, I would have thought that there should be an extraordinary session of the African Union to discuss a number of things, to discuss the countries which are in trouble, and I'm mentioning them ad nauseum, to ask the question, what is the problem in the Central African Republic? How can it be resolved? What is the problem in Togo, in Gambia, in the Cameroons, and in many other countries, so that we have African solutions to African problems? Because what we'll see very shortly is that the UN will sit down and send a peacekeeping force. And when there is no peace to be kept, and they send peacekeeping forces, when, in a manner of speaking, the horse will have bolted away. So the African Union is very disappointing. When Dr. Mahamat was appointed as the chairman of the commission, I thought that this was a new person that would come with new energy to replace Nkosazana and Dlamini Zuma. But what I see is lethargy. What I see is lack of enthusiasm. What I see is lack of direction. What I see is continued pain. I was amazed about a month ago, if I'm not wrong, when the international community asked the African Union to nominate a country to sit in the Security Council, and they nominated the Democratic Republic of Congo. How can you possibly nominate the Democratic Republic of Congo, whose president has refused to hold election, whose country is generating refugees, whose government is controlling Kinshasa only in real terms, and where there is conflict everywhere, and where the resources are being taken away by the Chinese, the Malaysians, and the Belgians, and other rogue individuals from Europe and America, and you nominate such a person? You nominate a hyena to sit in an assembly which is judging how goats should be preserved? It is a tragedy of gigantic proportion, and we consistently do this in Africa, and we think is normal. Africa has now normalized the absurd, and we think that sense is what we do, yet it is nonsense. And unfortunately, many of us who are not in positions of influence, our younger generation particularly, think that this does not matter. This matters. If you look at the history of revolutions, it was always the young people. As early as 1908 in Turkey, it is the young people who came up to rise up against the dictatorial regime. We remember even during the Bolshevik Revolution, it was the young people. We remember during the civil rights movement led by Martin Luther King Jr. and Ralph Abernathy, among others, it was young people. In 1968 in France, when there was a problem, initially in 1958 and 1968, it was young people. We remember in Tiananmen Square, it was young people. We remember in Korea in 1908, it was the young people. In South Africa, in the Sharpeville massacre in 1969, it was the young people. In Soweto in 1976, it was the young people. In the Arab world, it's the young people. But our young people in Africa today are imprisoned by Arsenal and Manchester United and Barcelona and Real Madrid, and our young girls are imprisoned by cheap South American soap operas and Beyonce Knowles. How can that be? How can a continent be so accursed that our young people have no sense of our history, no sense of our presence, no sense of our future? No wonder the Chinese are conquering us by the day. And we are wondering. John F. Kennedy said in 1960, a society whose young men and women are in a constant state of slumber will never realize our potential. Our young people must wake up. It is only the day that they wake up that they will be able to send a clear message to those in positions of leadership that you cannot continue to misgovern us. I look forward to those days. I have mentioned President Muhammadu Buhari fondly in a number of forums, but remember that President Muhammadu Buhari came into office and has been unwell, and therefore he is not performing at full throttle because of sickness. And you must remember that when the captain is unwell, even if there is another captain who replaces him, the ship does not move with the steadiness that it deserves. Remember that the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria inherited a system that was rotten to the core. Rotten because of corruption. In fact, he campaigned and won the elections on the promise that he would fight misgovernance and corruption. And I have no doubt in my mind that those who are corrupt, when he is away and unwell in the United Kingdom, they celebrate, say, this is our turn. They fight back, so that there is a sense in which he needs support. And it's not lost on me that his Vice President Osinbajo has tried to support. But when you are in an acting capacity, there is a limit beyond which you cannot go, lest your president think that you are beginning to undermine him. I wish your president Godspeed in recovery, and also that he institutionalizes and ensures that his agenda is bought by the others. There must be a buy-in. If you look at the whole concept of religion, even if you want to give it a spiritual dimension, in the Christian religion, Christ had a message from heaven, but he sold it to 12 others, and there was a buy-in. And that buy-in is what has seen Christianity spread over a period of 2,000 years. The Prophet Muhammad had an agenda. He said he went to the mountains and he was told, Ikra, read, and he read and came back with the agenda, and he sold it. He tried to sell it in Mecca, it didn't sell very well. He went to Medina, sold it to his Sahabas, and ultimately Islam spread. In other words, what I'm trying to say, that throughout the ages, no matter how good your idea is, that idea must be sold to others, they must buy into it, and that is how you institutionalize the idea. You cannot be a lone warrior in this matter, because the children of darkness hunt like a pack of wolves, and they will devour you if you are alone.
I want to call upon the people of Abazonia today, wherever you are in the diaspora in Abazonia itself, that in a struggle you are bound to have divisions. But divisions should not divert you from the main focus, the main challenge. We have struggled to expose the happenings, the human rights abuses in Abazonia. The army has killed hundreds and hundreds of thousands, burnt houses of people, internet was cut off, schools were closed, dispensaries, hospitals were burnt down. Abazonians should not be intimidated by Paul Robia. It is not upon the leaders of Abazonia, because I am not from Abazonia, but I've played a pivotal role in making sure that I loud out the voices, I put out the call, I call upon AU, EU, United Nations, Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International. Many of them have listened to some of the things that I say here, and they have come at last. America, United States of America, is slowly moving towards giving the Abazonian people the dignity they deserve. I therefore call upon the leaders and the leadership of the Abazonian people to unite for a purpose. The unity of purpose is paramount, as opposed to disunity, which has nothing but only produces ego that we have seen in South Sudan. What has killed South Sudan is not because they don't have the money, the minerals, the resources. It's ego between Riek Machar and Salva Kiir. We would not like to see that ego come to the people of Abazonia, the leadership of Abazonia. I call upon Samuel Sako, Akanga, Miran, and Eko to unite and talk with one voice on international scene that will bring about the peace, the tranquility that you yearn for since 1961, when the Resolution 1608 was abandoned by the United Nations General Assembly and Amazonia was annexed by the Cameroon government by then. I call upon you, my brothers, to pick up the unity call and free your people without disintegration. Thank you. Good morning, wherever you are in Africa. Thank you very much for listening, watching. Happy Christmas to you. Happy Heritage Utamaduni Day in Kenya. Good morning. Wherever you are in Africa, thank you very much. Thank you very much for surviving the Christmas wave that most people in Africa left their homes, left their towns to go either in the villages or those in towns left for villages, those in villages left for town. The cities of our African continent were deserted, some of them, while others were full of people, coastal cities, especially where the sunshine was. Everybody wants to run away from darkness to light. Thank you very much. We're not moving. We never moved. I and Miriam did not move. We stuck to the point, to the core, to serve humanity. That humanity alone can deliver. And if you serve them, they will understand. If you teach them one or two things, the world will be a better place. PLO Lumumba has just said, the Ottoman Empire was built on a new renaissance of the younger generation. But we have the younger generation in Africa that can stand for us, that can balance the old, the new, the born, the future generation. We are looking for that generation in Africa and we don't see. We see handouts generation. A generation that seeks handouts from the elders in order to survive, in order to insult, and in order to make things work for them. A generation that is paid on Twitter to insult. That's what we see in Kenya. In Kenya, even when the internet is free for everybody in the world, the Kenyans wouldn't like you to write about Kenya. But not protecting it in a good way, they are protecting individuals. Handout generation. So when PLO Lumumba says there is a generation coming, which one? I don't see any generation coming in Kenya that can serve. The people here are either tribal. That's why Kenyatta wants to change and bring tribalism to an end. That's why all of us are here today, tomorrow, to ensure that tribalism ends. With me in the studio today is none other than my co-host. We have decided we shall, these 27 days of December, the year of our Lord 2019, when Emperor Augustus Caesar allowed for census of every male under 2.5 years in the Jewish state in the Roman Empire. We remember the birth of Jesus Christ, and many people go to Christmas not knowing who was the emperor. One of the episodes of theology, the curtain rises and falls on the killing of Jesus Christ. The slaughter of Jesus Christ, who came to save you. It repeats itself in scripts all over the world. People who came to serve, who talk openly, Martin Luther, Malcolm X, Kennedy. Look at them. Ken Sarawau, Ken of Ngoni, he's no longer there, he's dead. Those who come to speak always end up slaughtered. Those who speak for the truth, if you look at the history, Julius Caesar never lasted. He was betrayed by Cassius and Brutus. Those who have read Shakespearean books will understand what I'm talking about. Therefore, the Messiah came to save us. But we plotted to kill him all the way. As he rode, he has now begun a journey. This Son of God grew faster because he came from the power of God. If you look at the number in December when he was born and then he was killed in April, I don't know how many years you can count, but I leave it to Miriam to do the mathematics.
After 33 years.
33 years, cut to size, cut down, mowed down by Pharisees. How many Pharisees do we have today in Kenya? How many scribes do we have today in Kenya whom President Uhuru Kenyatta is saying, get out of my father's temple? Mr. President, get a whip, climb on the donkey, enter the kingdom, enter the temple, chaff them out, chuck them out. How many of them are corrupt? And they turn the corrupt money on us. They turn to threaten the people of Kenya with corrupt money. Today the topic is politics, religion, economy of Kenya. 2019, what stood out for you? What did you do for this country? How have you defended this country? At least for me, I will not speak, but I'll speak later. I'll tell you what I've done for this country and what I have done for Africa and what contribution I've made. But what about you home? Have you criticized Buhari for killing people? Have you criticized Paul Obiya for slaughtering people? Have you stood up to stand against dictatorial tendencies that Africa sees in 2019? Have you stood up to talk about sanctions against Zimbabwe? How many of you see Trump as a new power-hungry machinery that could plunge the world into a world war? Have you stood to defend your own country? My country is a global system. My country is a global nation. A global citizen defends ideas. Parochial citizens defend stupidity. They live on handouts. An MP in Kenya is enjoying the sunshine of Los Angeles. And this same MP tells the people that there is nothing done back at home. Oh, my country. Oh, my Kenya. The MP is enjoying sunshine in Los Angeles, going to Hollywood, where sunshine is run away from the suffering of the people of Kiambu. And he is busy insulting the president away in the sunshine of Los Angeles. Mr. Moses Kuria, remember the journey you walked when you were also begging for lunch in hotels? Have you gone mad? People have not asked you to return that money for lunch. But when you got to power, you became even worse. I like Augustus Caesar. He knew the Israelis had a God they were praying for. But because he also wanted to be one of the gods, he did not want to antagonize the other god. Emperor Augustus Caesar of the Roman Empire allowed Jesus to be born. How many of you can allow such a situation? I'm here. I've been insulted and I allow the other hand for more insults because I defend President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and the handshake. I defend peace, redemption strategy. A country without redemption strategy is like a country that is moving on a sailing ship that has already got a punctured situation. I support Uhuru Kenyatta because he has a vision for Kenya. Time might not be on his side to achieve it, but those who will take over will achieve it. He has a vision for Africa. He has a vision for the East African community. I support. I don't criticize for the sake. I criticize the judiciary. For the sake of cleaning, making the judiciary workable. I still stand 2019, Maraga is not a thief, but he is incompetent. I want you to take my work after eating too much Christmas rice, chicken, food, whatever. Take it from me. And I put my hand up. Maraga might not be a thief. He has never stolen. But Maraga, Chief Justice of Kenya, is incompetent. He acts like an adolescent. He even boycotts national events, complains about being recognized. Why don't you lock people in a committee to be recognized? Hey, 2019 in Kenya, politics, religion, over to you, Miriam. Take it over.
Indeed. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're watching us across the globe. Thank you so much for finding time to be with us today, even as we enter the countdown towards, the year 2019, as we prepare to usher in 2020. I trust that you're well, wherever you're watching us from. So today, of course, we have a lot in store for you, and we're just reflecting on what this year has been here in Kenya. And then perhaps towards the end of the show, we shall just look quickly at what other news are making headlines across Africa. So today, we want to look at the political situation here in Kenya, the religion and economy, and the year that has been in 2019. And we've seen especially politics, religion come together in a manner that has been very unholy and has drawn a lot of criticism to the church that used to be very neutral and used to be the mediator and the peace, where people could go and hope that they could get some wise counsel. But lately, especially the year 2019, we've seen church merge with politics in manner in which a lot of Kenyans have been wondering what has happened in the Kenya today. So we will look at that. But first, we'll start with the politics. And we've seen, Doctor, in 2019, 2020 succession politics took center stage in the Kenyan political scene.
Thank you very much. The Kenya political scene in 2009, several events, succession politics. President Uhuru Kenyatta told the people not to politic. Let's do development. People refused. The headline today in the Standard newspaper, which is here, Ruto is telling us he might not be in the race. This is Machiavellian politics. Anybody who has studied political science to a level of this nature, like myself, I wouldn't say there is anything he has talked here. He's only trying to tell people that I'm so powerful and I might as well live for people. But if you have already caused a situation where people are already, daggers are being drawn against each other, now you turn around because you have seen God has told you again that you are going a wrong route which could lead you to where you were. Tell the truth, man. Talk it about it. You are going the route where you were going to go until Matanga arrived. Because you have sharpened the people's tongues. You have divided the people. Why I can quit 20? Quit then. But already you have sown the seeds. The seeds of discomfort. The seeds of violence. The seeds of ethnic balkanization. Today I'm not going to take anything home. What next? What? Seeds of balkanization of state. Uhuru Kenyatta says, don't balkanize the state. You say balkanize the state. Then you see it. God is telling you that until this Ugandan who came and stopped the train that international wanted to take you down, all Kenyans were quiet. They wanted you go. They wanted you go. Anybody who says no, say, I did not do it. Lawyers came for money. I went for my people. I did not want to earn a living out of misery of 6 Kenyans being taken the route. I'm preaching reconciliation here. I'm preaching reconciliation here. You balkanize the people into tribes ethnically. You go to Western, balkanize, and say me, I. You go to Central, me, I. You go to, what the hell? What politics is this? And then you come to say, I will quit. Quit. Kenya today, people are aware. And I'm happy the security agencies are very aware, alert. Every movement that people want to make. Yes, this time there will be no more killing of people anymore. No, the world saw a lot of bloodshed. No more because of the same type of politics. If you look at the leader of majority called Murkomen, the language that everything what the President Uhuru says he doesn't like it. Then why is he a leader of majority? Wacha tuulize. You know the president might not ask this. But anybody in the world, whether I'm in Nairobi, and I want to tell these people who say Nairobi, my friend, whether I'm in Nairobi or not in Nairobi, this man here is ever frank. You think there are no leaders in Africa who like me? I have friends. I have Mbadoko sana na mutu Nairobi. It's a freedom you have put it in the constitution for people to practice. For any journalist, local journalist, I am a journalist. And I can practice. So whether here or there, I will always stand for Africa. I will always create more television stations coming on the way 2020. Powerful machinery on this continent to stand for Africa. There is no intimidation, this stupid intimidation of people. When you go and create violence, plant it. People have to be told. If you are the one planting violence, ask for redemption. Weyonje. Genda weyonje. Wenaze mumutima. Muline mitima emivundu. I will translate that when Miriam asks for translation.
We are waiting.
In a sense, go and clean your hearts. Redemption. Uhuru Kenyatta says, let's redempt. Let's do a BBI. Let's refocus what has gone wrong with Kenya. Every 5 years, we kill each other in elections. Refugees come to Bududa. I have over 27 almost 200 families in my district, because it's the nearest with Kenya. They have been discriminated, no. There is no discrimination. Some have said no. As long as that man, they call it William Jama, we are not coming back. Because the horrific events of the Rift Valley that time have made those guys scared. And let's not repeat, let's not even bother on those things. People have run for their lives. But here leaders are drumming. Another leader this morning told me, he called me. They were called to a house somewhere, and each leader who accompanied the MPs got 3,000 shillings. 3,000 shillings, they can't buy chicken. They buy only one chicken. And the community that went there received 3,000 bob. The MPs received 100,000. The former MP received 50. The governors and the leaders of majority, minority, 200,000.
Is it the meeting that happened on Thursday?
Yes. You know what? There are two things that you cannot beat Uhuru Kenyatta. He has so many people everywhere that the people, after they come from there, they say, this 2,000, 3,000 shillings. People started talking about the money. So we still have the politics of money versus politics of principles. That's why Africa tears every day. Succession in Kenya has become a dirty game. A dirty game. This was Jamaica, 2 years left, 3 days to go, or 4. Help President Uhuru Kenyatta to secure a legacy. I'm only saying that. I'm only asking. I'm not a Kenyan, but I'm a beneficiary of a stable Kenya. I'm a beneficiary of an economy that functions in Kenya. My people will have a place to bring their market, the milk. Uganda now produces more milk.
And eggs.
And eggs. We are not manufacturing the eggs like a Chinese do. I'm a beneficiary. People ask why I should be able not to be talking about why am I the people who have this thing of planting, uprooting people. You notice that all the people who attack Matsanga on social media are the ones who have this mentality of uprooting people. Honestly, 90% of my haters are uprooters. They have the mentality of saying, why is he here? That mentality of eyeing somebody's wife because he's with good big eyes. That if there is a chance and I get that chance, I will. This is the mentality killing people here. I am not going to spare anything. 90% of my haters on Facebook are uprooters. They uproot people. They want to uproot you. They tell you, go home. You don't belong here. Now, where is home? This is a global market. Singaporeans are in Kenya. Chinese are here. Now, me and a doctor, I ask one question. Can I ask it today? Cuban doctors and Ugandan doctors, who is more at home?
Ugandan doctors, of course.
So, the treatment of a Ugandan doctor who might know leprosy is better. The Ugandan doctor knows what kaumpuli is. Because it's a common disease around the border of Bungoma and Busia. Kaumpuli. Kaumpuli, the plague. It's called the plague. The one that God sent to the Israelis. And they didn't see it came to kill. They didn't know what was killing them after they disobeyed in Canaan. When they were heading to Canaan. Some people wake up, the Bible is in my head. Today, my father wanted me to become a bishop. He took me to Bishop Taka College Mukono, filled the forms. My uncle refused me. I would have been a very good bishop. Hallelujah. Look at the stability. The stability of Kenya saves the stability of Uganda, the Congo, and the Rwanda. If Kenya does not stand out to neutral, there will be no country in East and Central Africa today if Kenya is not peaceful. Look at Rwanda and Uganda. What? Two generals. One educated the other. One saluted the other. Now they don't salute each other. What a shame. That has annoyed me this year. When we come on Sunday, what stood out in Africa? That is the worst thing that has ever happened. I want to tell President Museveni and Kagame, I met one of your fellow heads of state in Africa. In 1.5 hours meeting, my meeting with him, and now authoritatively I want to tell you, he asked me one thing that broke the entire meeting into silence. He said, are you sure that Rwanda and Uganda, there is tension? I said, you didn't know. You did not know. This president said, what? You did not know? I said, Mr. President, a white man has come and put a knife on the things that held us together. We have fallen apart. The man said, you are genius. You are genius. Hold on. I want to pick a phone and call one of these people. He said, no, wait until I go. Or if you call, put it on loudspeaker and ask these questions. I was telling that excellency of one African head of state. I said, put on the speaker and you ask this. Are you talking? The person, are you talking? Are you talking? No. This is embarrassing to Africa. We are looking for international. It is like this stupid man called this other demagogue, the CIA mouthpiece of Mogadishu, that is looking for a border in the Indian Ocean. People are looking for one passport in Africa, and Mr. Faramijo is looking for a border in water. Oh, this is our border. This is our... That politics on Sunday. Don't forget to tune in. Let's come back to Kenya.
Yes, and Doctor, just before we lose this, I was reading this story just a while ago before we started the show. Of course, the front pages of the Standard newspaper, Ruto, why I can quit it 2022 race. Of course, he was hosting, I think, I read the Kikuyu elders in his home now on Thursday. And he was saying if his presidential aspirations would cause bloodshed in this country, then he's saying he was going to quit. Do you think this has anything to do with the report that came from the ICC?
Yes. They are watching. And I swear this time, you know what? You know what? You know what? David. And you know some of these guys, you tell them to warn them. They turn you into an enemy. This guy has turned me into an enemy. Yet I talk the truth like this. That woman, and the little Kenyan is here. This Matanga here, I hate ICC. Even if you wake me from the grave, when I'm being lowered and you said you like it, then you can have life. I say, let me go. I hate International Criminal Court. I don't like them. That's why I might find myself defending Sam again. No, honestly, because I will be on the other side. I believe the gentleman himself, wherever he is on holiday, he knows I saw him and I told him that the case is over. It will not, it has no evidence. But look, the woman is leaving. Next year, in 4 days, we start counting the departure of the chief prosecutor with skirt and a petticoat and a blouse. I have no good words for Fatou Bensouda. I have no good words for Moreno Ocampo. They are thieves. They are thieves. If they are not thieves, charge me. Charge me. I've challenged the ICC, charge me. Charge me. And then you will see what I will produce. I've been telling them, on Sudan, charge me. On Bashir, I exposed one of the biggest scandals. That if you bring Matanga on that charge sheet, and we deliver the bank statement and the money, and we see where the money came from, the worst part of it is that ICC, they don't know who gave me the documents and where they came from. They thought it came from heaven. No, from America. So charge me and you will see. I will floor you and you will go to jail. Bashir was indicted after over $17 million paid to indict Bashir. Not that there were no events in Darfur. People died in Darfur. My worry and my concern is the indictment, forced indictment, using the money paid by NGOs that hate Bashir. Kenyan case is the same. Because signals are showing people are being grouped. They are being grouped towards that. If I don't get the presidency, my people, you should react. So these things are being felt. You think there are no ICC listening posts here? They are there. They are there. They are there in the Rift Valley. They are everywhere. This ICC. That woman is leaving. That woman wants to leave someone hanging there. Already she has set a back. Miriam, don't you see? You know, the problem with the Ruto camp, they don't listen. They don't analyze. Everybody hates you. Yet you talk the truth. I'm not interested to allege on things I don't know. If you have done corruption, I'll tell you. Me, I can't prove any corruption. I can only hear the rumor. But on the ICC, I can tell you that the woman has been gathering evidence. She wants to leave someone hanging in that court.
And also perhaps outdo her predecessor who did a shoddy job in the Kenyan. So she's perhaps trying to do a good job compared to what Moreno Ocampo did.
Yes, so that she leaves you hanging there. She leaves somebody in Kenya hanging inside there. So when you start doing sectarian politics, balkanizing people, sharpening people's tongues to go and destroy others, kill others, maim others, try to make it difficult because you want the power, I bet these Americans, this international community that we always welcome as ambassadors, are watching. You know, they will give us a surprise. So let's go slow. Let's engage. You look. Perhaps when I talk about Kenya alone, people, let me divert a bit to Uganda. The Uganda situation, already we have 4 days to election. Next year is full throttle. People have already sharpened the tanks, pangas, guns. They are there. They are preparing for it. I am telling you, they are preparing. Yesterday, all musicians were at the beach playing music. One musician was watching from the window. Yesterday, everybody was happy. Some section were watching from far. Have you seen that? So, a normal person who has a brain like me, which is my brain, and I studied political science to a degree more than my president. Because my president has 1 degree from Dar es Salaam University. I have 3. In fact, the 4th one tomorrow, next month, February. In project management, masters, I will be honored. Another one. So, look, Miriam, do you go into the fire when the fire is hot? You use it. Why do we go to school? I'm asking. Why do we go to school? It's to assess, analyze, and advise. My age, I have passed through the age of applying for a job. Because my years betray me. If you put date of birth, I lose the job. They will take younger girls like you. So in this time, if I don't speak, if I don't tell the truth, where am I going to be? The Uganda petition of ICC is stupid. You wanted the truth? Yes. Mr. Lukwago and Mr. Besigye, don't waste people's time on collecting the petition.
And Doctor, speaking about the ICC, sorry, I cut you short, but there's been a renewed ICC activities in Uganda. I've seen now the High Court has adhered to the ICC, warrant of arrest against former President Omar al-Bashir. And the court the other time ruled that Uganda was wrong, the president was wrong for not arresting him in 2016, 2017, when he was still a president and he visited the country. So what is it? And then now you've been saying that, there is a petition being prepared. So what is it with the ICC and the...
Someone, listen, someone, and for me, why even opposition like in Uganda hate me? Hate me. Are you my mother who produced me? Are you? Hate me. I don't care. But I tell them the truth now. That petition is wrong. It will die. Uganda has domesticated. I don't know what Mr. Lukwago, Elias Lukwago, the Lord Mayor of Kampala, went to which university to study law. I don't know. Uganda has domesticated the statute, the Rome Statute. So you cannot talk of taking any Ugandan again to ICC. Unless that Ugandan has committed crimes outside the Ugandan territory, then you can seek. But President Museveni is within the Ugandan territory. And they have domesticated the Rome Statute. Hello, listen, you people. You are straining people too much. People don't have even food to eat. You are straining us with signatures. Hello? It is dead on arrival the same day. Even if you collect 2 million signatures, present them to the court, the special division of the High Court of the Republic of Uganda, which was put there as international division of the High Court of the Republic of Uganda, that will look through the accusations. Therefore, we are back to square one. The law in Uganda says, as soon as you place it there, another Ugandan from Museveni's side will go to say, what does our constitution say? the president has immunity. So, politicians, opposition in Africa, you know what? Opposition in Africa is porridge. I'm sorry. Most of them, you don't, it's a simple thing. The guy is doing this petition in Uganda are lawyers. Mr. Lukwago is a lawyer.
They understand what the law
But he should
says.
have advised Mr. Besigye that this petition cannot work because Uganda has domesticated the ICC law. And as soon as you put this petition in that special division, another Ugandan will go and file an application to say the law in Uganda stops impeachment, accusations, allegations, and arresting the president because of immunity. The Constitutional Court of the Republic of Uganda, which is the supreme body than the division, will rule in favor of President Museveni.
Maybe that's why they think they can go out there so that a warrant or
You can't go out there.
When you
Fatou Bensouda,
domesticated.
the trial chamber, the lower courts, the lower courts that give you authority to investigate will refuse to receive it. You know why? They will refer you to Kampala court. And unlike Kenya, refused to a special division of the High Court. The judges refused. William Mutunga was in connection with Iwaki, Kalonzo. For you fear telling them.
But also in Parliament, I think.
No, but you can see who should have set up the special division in court to save Uhuru Kenyatta and Ruto. Should have been William Mutunga. Once you set up the special division of the High Court, you call those cases back. Kenya has more. It can rule on these cases. But somebody just said, watch ipite. Watch our.
I think it was too late when they realized that this thing is
not
serious.
even too late. The people who were on the committee,
they tried doing something.
The ICC committee here, Kenyans should know. We are talking Kenyan politics. The ICC committee here was the most dangerous committee. It included the people whom you know, some have passed away, some are still here. Hey, they are still here, Mr. President and Ruto. Watch them, they are here. They are here. They will take you down. You think they were here? They were on the committee that never wanted a special division of the High Court to be formed. In Uganda, Museveni is safe. Even if you get 2 million signatures, don't waste our time and money. Maybe you are doing it for George Soros. You know?
So a warrant of arrest cannot be offered
you can't
by the ICC against, as they did to Omar al-Bashir.
Who can issue a warrant? Which court?
Against President Yoweri.
No. This, Jermaine, me, I am not a friend of President Museveni. You know what he has done to me. Maybe Ruto is a very good friend.
Oh, they're close.
Yes, they go ahead, Mr. Ruto.
Bromance.
Yes, romance.
Bromance.
Mimi sijali. Mimi, I know where trouble is. And I run away from trouble. This man you see here. Cowards live longer. But you romance. The time of romance is about to, it will come. Me, I know my president. Mark, I know him from 1978. I didn't know him yesterday. 79. We are together. He was in the military commission. We were in the political and diplomatic commission. With Wadada Nabdele Rugumayo, Yashi Tandon, Omono Jok, na Sasira. And look for Matanga in that secretariat of the Uganda National Liberation Front. I was a member of that secretariat. They are working in the Diplomatic Commission. If you doubt it, ask Professor Yashi Tandon. Ask Professor Rugumayo. Physically, the only thing I've changed is the big size I have today. I know my president. Therefore, there are things you have to avoid. And this romance you have to avoid. You know, people don't know. They don't know. It's okay. It's okay. Let's be the bad ones. DP, enjoy. Hey, me, I know. Therefore, on this, not that I have agreement with him. We have disagreement on several things, but some have been solved. But on this one, I call it, I give a credit where it is due, Miriam. There is no way you are going to take that case to ICC against President Museveni and get there. You are wasting time. You are even people who are traumatized will be more traumatized. Please, leave it. Younger men, leave it. Lukwago is a younger guy. He's big in size and a voice, but very young. Very young. That Lord Mayor of Kampala, very young. He was in the university recently. Some of us left the university a long time ago. Eh? You can't joke with a man who wrote a thesis on Fenon Fanzi. Eh? You people don't know. Fine. Coming back, all this is succession. And you can see the politics. Because we're about to come to religion, then you ask me many questions. The opposition in Kenya seem to be moving in the direction. I think people, to me, 2019, I've seen people wanting to unite. And President Uhuru Kenyatta is trying to unite. Raila Odinga.
And we've seen the opposition has been the greatest supporter of President and his vision and all that. So people have been wondering, so what has happened to the Kenyan opposition? Because
no, the opposition is there.
For those who don't understand.
People have reached, you know, the theory that Kenyatta brought in space is a very good theory of reconciliation, BBI. The handshake is very, very important. So everybody who goes to border against the handshake comes back. You know, these Kenyans, forget about the Kenyans on Twitter and Facebook who are shouting because Twitter has just arrived near their houses. Some of us grew up in toilets which flash. Yes, I'm honest. So do you get excited when you see a flashing toilet? Yeah. Our homes had flash, those longer ones. Woo! You know, you as if you are doing a borehole. So you don't get excited when you get a toilet that flashes. The Twitter men on here who have been hired, given bundles to insult President Uhuru Kenyatta on a daily basis. Anybody who writes good thing for President Uhuru Kenyatta or Raila Odinga, hammer them. That's what they are doing to me. I'm happy. Go ahead, go on. But at least one day, one of those bundles are going to get out of you. In fact, this weekend, the bundles went down because most of them went back home where internet is not even available.
Maybe they were just busy with the family.
No, there was no internet available.
Safaricom has strong signal.
No, the signals are there, but if Anna una bundle,
yes.
The people who are giving bundles are out of town. Some are in Los Angeles.
Los Angeles.
Enjoying,
Yes.
what is it called?
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. I'm right.
Yes, you are.
Yes, sunshine. Then from Los Angeles, you insult the man who gave you a constituency. To hell.
And while we're still in the Kenyan politics, we saw Ekuru Okoth's Punguza Mzigo initiative facing a humiliating rejection in majority of counties in Kenya this year. That was also a highlight in the political scene in Kenya.
I like the initiative of and the stamina of Ekuru Okoth. Ekuru Okoth is a friend, but is misled by too much NGOs. There's a lot of NGO syndrome. Time has come for him to put on maturity. He has that language. He's a very good lawyer, though.
Yes.
A very good constitutional. He studied constitutional.
Constitutional law, yes.
But he has that cheapness of NGO. You know, when you have this rucksack, this bag here, every time, even when you are going for serious engagement on the plane, you are going to meet a president of another country, you have a rucksack. No, grow up. Ekuru Okoth this year made something, you know, that time I criticized. Not because there was nothing. There are some serious points in the Ekuru Okoth petition that Kenyans should look at, which the BBI team must now go back, assemble some of them, call Mr. Ekuru Okoth for the sake of a nation. Let's not fear. Let's balance this nation. Let's work together in this nation. Bring Ekuru Okoth on board. There are some good ideas that you can package. For example, President Uhuru Kenyatta took over a constitution, 390 MPs, 47 governors, 1,000 something MCS, their deputy, their PA, their bodyguards. This is Uhuru Kenyatta carrying the burden. 6 commissions, each with bodyguards and a Range Rover and a Range Rover and whatever you call Corolla, Prado. This is what Uhuru Kenyatta took over. You know, time has come. The people on Uhuru Kenyatta's PR machinery stand up and defend this. Jamen, this guy took over this. And he had to service this. So I hate anyone comparing Kibaki time with this time. Kibaki time, Kibaki on the service, the constitution for 2 years. Things were, MPs were the same, 100, 200 something, 10.
In fact, the constitution was not implemented until the
new
August House, yes.
Yes.
That is in 2013.
So the 2013, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta took over the constitution, ladened, good English, ladened, not loaded. Am I right? You are the English check master. Ladened. Omuzigo, baggage, luggage. President Uhuru Kenyatta carried the luggage of all these institutions. He has to finance them. He has to put, and let Kenyans understand here. You have to service the constitution. At the same time, don't break it, but stay on course. How much money is the constitution taking? Answer. How much money did the constitution of Kenya take? And what the constitution of Kenya is taking today because of the posts? A lot. Now add there judiciary. Then there is a clause, one clause in the Constitution of Republic of Kenya, and I'm teaching people here. One clause in the Constitution of Republic of Kenya. Do you know what? It removes powers from the president not to sack a corrupt deputy, a corrupt minister, a corrupt judge, a corrupt commissioner. Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
No, you're right. They have to go through a due process.
The Constitution came and removed powers for the president to say, Mr. Chief Justice, get out. That is what Kenyatta has gone through. And like it or not, that is where it is. So in Punguza Mzigo of Ekuro, there are good things there that you can grab. Do we need the Senate? Does Kenya need a Senate? What does the Senate do in UK, which the Parliament in UK does not do?
In the US.
No, in the US, there is House of Lords in the, there is a Senate in the US. House of Lords in UK.
Yes.
The House of Lords in UK is the Supreme Court. It's the last court of the United Kingdom, the mighty kingdom that brought the English that we talk about, has the House of Lords as the final. If the Supreme Court does nyoko, you go there in the House of Lords and your motion is placed there. Then these are men, hello, the 89, 90, they look with specs like this. What does Kenya need a Senate? With a Senate leader called Murkomen, acting like a juvenile, an adolescent, without leadership qualities and the tools of analysis. Do you need it? Now, another thing, Uhuru is paying for that. You see, the Uhuru administration of Jubilee has been heaped with all this, but the money, the generating factor, which is the economy, we come to the economy, which is the generating factor. Have we performed economically? No. Where is the money coming from? It's the Kibaki money that was done. It was left. It started eating the same base rate of the economy. The economy shrunk because of too much salaries. Wage bill grew bigger, and Uhuru continued to service the institutions. He cannot sack the Chief Justice who doesn't even imprison 1/5. Because the Chief Justice, the Constitution also left some things very ambiguous. So Ekuro Court, in his petition, he has some sense which the BBI can
borrow from.
Yes, and bring it to the Senate and save Kenyans. All these institutions.
So maybe what you're suggesting is Ekuro Court should meet with the BBI team, because it's not the report is not final, so that they're able to harmonize some of these things that the BBI report could borrow.
What we can call in political science harmonized BBI. I'm teaching here. Harmonized report. It means borrow from Ekuro Court, borrow. So Miriam, they were eating from the same money that was available when Kibaki left. No activities economically. Kibaki left, SGR are not finished. Uhuru had to continue to finish the SGR. You blame him for having gone to finish the project, which was discussed
during the Grand Coalition.
So the Constitution brought a constraint. It is not Uhuru alone to be blamed for failure to deliver some of these things. The failure is on our constitution. It's the constitution of Republic of Kenya that needs to be looked at again and again. Remove some things that are not worth in the constitution. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. We are looking at politics, religion, and economy, and how those three issues, fared in this year here in Kenya 2019. And so we're just looking at the politics, and it has been a very busy political year here in Kenya. You would think that the country was going into an election this year because the politicians have been holding rallies and harambes and Thanksgiving services and the donations, and they've been all over the place. But the year has come to an end. So in 2020, I think we'll just see the same. So, Doctor, let's just go to religion. And this year, churches were criticized heavily over the involvement in politics, and they sort of allowed the pulpit to be used as political arenas, contrary to what we used to see churches in the earlier years or in the early 90s, and the role that the church played. And compared to now, Kenyans are confused. Where does the church, or the stand of the church, and they've lost their moral authority as a leader, as an institution that used to bring some sanity even in Kenya. And the voice of the church used to be very powerful, that when the leaders of the churches would come and speak about something in one voice, the country would listen. But it appears things have changed, or things are falling apart in the Kenyan church because politics has taken center stage also in the church.
Yes, thank you very much. The church in Kenya has played a negative role in doing several things. One, we have lost the religious moral bearing. We have commercialized religion. In Kenya 2019, the church did not come out strongly to insert its authority over the population, over the congregations. We have evangelized. We have created a lot of evangelism. Is it correct?
Evangelism, yes.
Evangelism, sorry. Evangelism.
Reinhard Bonke started it.
Yes. We have brought a lot of evangelism into Kenya. But we have not brought a lot of heart searching, soul searching. We have commercialized religion. We also want to have 10 Range Rovers in order to be seen you are the bishop of a church. Therefore, we are not appealing to the soul. We are appealing to the people who are already dented. We actually glorify corruption in the other sector, while here you are telling people, come with whatever you have. The example of this, of the church, is when the churches started receiving cash.
In huge lumps.
And some bishops went up in 2009, said, we don't care, bring it. Then you wonder why Jesus went to the temple to chase out gamblers. What was it for? Jesus chased gamblers out of the temple in Jerusalem because he thought trading in the temple of God was not a very good thing at all. So in today, the religion in Kenya, bishops have turned it into a trading partnership with crime. They don't care who has brought what. They don't look at the theology, the doctrine. We have evangelized everything. People are what do you call it? Evangelical. Yes, evangelical.
The evangelicals.
They are talking much without knowing that the people they are talking to are not listening. Most of the people go in church to show new clothes. That's why I don't go. I only went. Yeah, I don't go. Because some churches are telling you, wear nicely before you come. So if you don't have the money to buy the nice shirt, you are out. Do you know there are churches in Nigeria and they are doing funny things. Lie down, they whip you before God comes to save you. There's so many things are happening in our churches today. It's a pity. So if this type of doctrine arrives in Kenya, it starts to grow feet in Kenya. And I think the Attorney General had tried to bring a law to regularize these churches. People were up in arms. They said
freedom of worship.
Freedom of worship. But the freedom of worship where you receive money equally from a thief who has actually murdered people to get the money and bring it to the church. And then you also receive the same from those who are innocent. It's not a religion. It's something else. It's a commercial enterprise.
And speaking about evangelicals, they're the ones, even in the US right now, they're the ones who are really supporting Donald Trump. So I just don't understand the disconnect between what they preach and what they choose to support. And we've seen even that here in Kenya and indeed across Africa, the church is becoming something else totally.
Of course. Yeah. In the US, the people who are supporting Trump,
evangelicals,
yes, they are so... They don't want even black people.
And they teach love and acceptance.
Yes, they teach love, and yet they don't want to see Spaniard. The Spaniards should go home, cross over to Mexico border, go home. That's what Trump is saying. But they pay huge money to Trump to win an election.
They do.
Materialism has taken over spiritualism. The spirit is not being taught what to do in Kenya. The people who go to church in Kenya want to receive the Holy Spirit, but they receive a commercial spirit. I'm sorry.
But not all churches.
No. All Saints Church.
Not all churches.
I go to All Saints Church only.
Also, my church, even if you come there, even if you're the president of the Republic of Kenya, they'll just say the president is here with us today, but you'll not even be given an opportunity to stand, to say hello, or to give any donation. We don't do that, the Baptist Church. So not all, but the evangelical churches, this is where these activities have really thrived, because they don't seem to have laws that govern and proper structures that govern the churches, because a lot of them are just private entrepreneurial ventures that people have opened, and they're preaching, and they're selling anointing oil and all this hula baloo that happens in these churches. So yeah.
Okay, I want to read something for you. I've crammed it here. In Los Angeles, we had a governor by name Schwarzenegger.
Arnold
Schwarzenegger.
It's a former actor.
Not in, I usually call it Arnold Schwarzenegger. This governor built a statue when he was in power. And then he opened a hotel, a very high hotel, when he was in power. After leaving the governorship, he went as a normal person. You see, in America, when you live, you become normal. You walk, you can even ride on a donkey like a Jesus.
You're a regular citizen.
Regular citizen on a bicycle, you can walk. So Schwarzenegger went to this hotel which he opened officially with a lot of singers, music. He said, "Can I have a room?" The hotel said, "Sorry, the rooms are full and there's a competition on them. Fortunately, we need you to pay for it." Mr. Schwarzenegger said, is this not the hotel? The people that I favored for them to have this hotel, you want me to pay for it? He said he will not pay for it. He will go. He got his sleeping bag. He had erected a statue.
They had in his honor.
In his honor. He slept under his statue. What does it tell you in religion and the politics of this country? I leave you to conclude. I leave you to conclude. What lessons do you learn from Arnold Schwarzenegger? What lessons do you learn to a man who went to sleep under his statue? When he was a governor, he built hotels. And when he came back to say, can I have a room in this? They said, no. Pay for it. And there are no rooms, by the way.
And when he used to be the governor, he used to get preferential treatment.
Yeah, treatment. The
Especially
governor would
for-
call, can I have a room? 10 rooms? Yes.
There was one.
What does this teach you? When you are in power and when you have money,
Yes.
do not trust your position or amount of money you have, nor your power, nor your intelligence. It will not last. Hello? Have you heard that? Don't trust your money, your power, your intelligence, because at one day they come to kneel. Schwarzenegger slept under his statue the whole night. Do you think he has no money for which he made in millions of films? What does that show to you? You in Africa who harass everybody, who pays everybody, who even collects money from people who are poor and buy planes, fly them. Bishops have planes. Bishops have landing rights. Bishops have airfields. We have commercialized our religion in Africa. Religion has become a string of pata potea, pata potea, pata, wake up, potea, wapa, unapata, wake up, potea. No. Religion should not be a gambling situation. Religion must be something that teaches to change the soul, the heart, the spirit of humanity. Hallelujah. Today, I'm in the mood to preach, though.
The bishop in you is coming out.
It's coming out.
Good.
Miriam, we lost it. Corruption this year has stood high. It has taken most of the money.
Even in the church.
Even the church itself has become corrupted.
Very much so.
Bishops are divided. If you can see the number of bishops that were in Sungoi with their collars, waiting to be praised and be given some money quietly by their people who took them there.
They're the ones who are given the 3,000.
I will tell you. Yes.
Yes.
We have lost the campus.
Completely.
The moral campus. The moral campus churches should have brought moral campus to Kenyans. And not only in Kenya, in Uganda, it is worse. In Uganda, the bishops, the pastors have radio station, have airfields. Oh, I have not told you. Airfield. They, my. We've spoiled our religion. Uganda pastors fight over television station, radio station. Pastors, they fight. Now, you ask yourself, are these pastors for the people or for who?
It has become an enterprise, the church.
Yes.
It's
It's a very serious enterprise.
it is.
Uganda's situation is worse. Pastor under pastor, they seek political patronage in Uganda. Pastors have army in the churches. Pastors have brought UPDF in to guard them. If you're a son of God, why do you need a UPDF to guard you? They use the army to attack others. The American style of religion that has propelled Mr.
Trump
Trump
is here with us.
is here with us. I hope Kenya hey, does not find its way into that situation. Do you know another country where I saw that? Zimbabwe. Today, the churches in Zimbabwe were used during Mugabe to bring on Sunday. If you go to the homes in Zimbabwe, you can steal everything if you have the place where to store. People have gone to church. The churches are full in Zimbabwe. They pray very hard.
Well, times are tough.
But when they come out, the times are tough because the same people.
Sometimes people don't know
the same people who called for times to be tough are the same people who are telling them, don't respect Mnangagwa.
All right. So do we look at the economy? In Kenya, and of course Kenya is the economic, financial and transport hub of East Africa. Since 2014, Kenya has been ranked as a lower middle income country because of its per capita GDP crossed a World Bank threshold. The economy of Kenya is a market-based economy with a liberalized external trade system and a few state enterprises. Major industries include agriculture, forestry, fishing, mining, manufacturing, energy, tourism and financial services. As of 2019, Kenya had an estimated GDP of US dollars 99.246 billion, per capita GDP of 2010 US dollars, making it the 62nd largest economy in the world, of course. And we've seen a lot of activities in the Kenyan economy. And this year, Kenyans are complaining they don't have the money in their pockets. And also, we cannot forget the change of the new currency. And that meant, in terms of a fight against corruption and, I don't know, in this country.
I just want to tell you, I have already indicated to you where the money might have gone. Corruption, ballooning wage bill. The wage bill was high. It caused all the difficulties. In summary, the economy of Kenya has not reached a point of breaking point like Greece. No, you still have very good indicators that it can do a rebound. A rebound is the essential unit. There are certain pointers that infrastructure, once it starts to generate, how many people are planning for hotels in all places where the railway stops? How many people are creating kiosks, small shops, SMEs? They are called SMEs.
The small
medium enterprise. How many? President Uhuru Kenyatta gesture on people having access to loans, even if it's a shack loan. I bought my first restaurant, my first nightclub in Britain, from the money of a shack. From the money, I had saved £60,000 on my account, and there was a nightclub down the road on London Road in Thornton Heath. Those who are watching me will agree, will know. Those who have come to my nightclub in the United Kingdom, those who danced there, who enjoyed the food, who enjoyed the music, who enjoyed the hospitality, will know that I bought that. I want to tell you, I did not wait for a bank loan because no bank could give me. I did not have a property at that time to take money from the bank. The only thing that the bank could give me was an overdraft of £200, and which I should return as soon as the last coin is overdrawn. But I went to a money Sherlock, this man who lend money. And the man said, I will give you the money of 12,580, 12,000 pounds over. Let me say 12,800 pounds. My nightclub was costing plus lawyers' fees of 600 for the exchange of agreement. The Mzungu surrendered the nightclub to me. It is called 791 on London Road near the pond in London. It's still there. You can go there and ask, where was that big guy Ugandan? They will say, hey, the boss, the former, is not here. I paid for the restaurant and started. I said, enough is enough. Life was too much of depending. I had 6 children at that time. I had not produced the other 2. Yes, the other 2, the last one came later. The other one was not yet with me, but was with the mother. So I said, with this 5, how am I going to feed them? You can't rely on handouts. Meona? Or waiting for a check, a DSS, a check on Friday. Hey, Wednesday, you are happy. No, I went to work. I ran that nightclub very effectively, I'm telling you. Very effectively. It paid my bills. It had me money. I had a holiday. You know? I could use my money the way I want. So what? Nobody was controlling me. Because I was, all what I needed was to go and buy the beer. I registered with supermarkets. They deliver the beer. The one for this, you know, for you don't drink. There's a beer for, this is lager. Pint. Jamaicans were hyped. During weekdays, I got friendship with Jamaican boys. My friends, they used to, during the weekdays, they used to drink. Every day, the weekends, you have at least 3,000 pounds of your money. By the weekend arrives when the music starts. You go home with 10,000 pounds. Well done. Clean money. You have removed the paid workers, paid this, paid the security, paid Professor Wachikoya as my bouncer. It's true. And that is achievement. I did not go. When people see me here, they think that that's exactly what I did. So the youth must be encouraged to even go out, to make the economy work. You borrow. For example, the youth have been giving this example everywhere. Get yourself ironing flat. There are so many lazy Africans. I've done a survey here.
Not even lazy. Sometimes we're just busy.
People are busy. No, let me use the best word so that they can get annoyed with me.
Well, I still iron my clothes, but if I got somebody to do it,
yes,
I'll be happy.
So every morning, as a youth, go and get a kiosk. Put iron sheet here. Put iron sheet there. Put iron sheet here. Ask. And put iron box, like a 5. Ironing board. You start. And they say, go on now. Twitter has come. You say, for you to have your clothes ironed within 5 days, within 5 hours, bring them, drop them here, pick them in the evening. I swear, take it 1 month. You will even close the place because of what? The number of clothes that have been brought for you, you are not managing. But in doing so, you now call upon another youth to come and help you. This is how youth in Africa should actually stand up to start something. You don't need the government to do the job. If you start that, then later on, slowly and ask the government, look here, I have got this. Now I want to move in a permanent place. I want to buy a machine, a dryer, a washing machine, and a dryer. Can you lend me money? Which bank manager will refuse? When he has seen you are getting something, you are banking there. The banks that refused to give me money, whenever on Monday morning, I was banking 15, 22, 25, 14, 10. Huh? The account grew. This is the factual. My account grew. The manager then they started asking, oh, we would like to visit your premises to give you advice. Advice over who? This is what you want to come to do what? I told the man in Lloyd's Bank, don't never to step near my house or my bank, my restaurant. You refuse to give me money. Because the truth, I was banking, I opened together with my firstborn. She became my secretary. Miriam, I owe you. She became my company secretary. Because when you are going for a license,
you need a lawyer.
No, not a lawyer.
As a company secretary.
Yes. You are going for a license. Club 791. The license was transferred. I make friendship with police. Very good police people. They came. I said, I'm resettling these black men here. They are making problems here on the streets, driving cars. I put a separate place where if you are drunk, I lock you know what I do? I lock the car park. You don't go. I call you a cab. I used to pay cab for people to go. They come in the morning to collect. So one day when the police came on the door when we are having there was no 24-hour drink. Then they came and said, why are people here? I said, my friend, I am serving this to people I know so that they don't drive cars at night to cause drink and driving. The police sergeant looked at him and said, you are very genius. They recommended for me in Croydon Council to have a license. To have a bar license in the United Kingdom, you need to study a Bachelor of Science in Food Chemicals. Not jakara, that everybody here is opening a bar. No, hakuna. You need to have a degree or a diploma to show to the court before they give you a license. If you don't have a degree in the United Kingdom, you can't even sell a shop. The owner of the shop must pass. That's where we are. Thank you very much. The economy of Kenya, people must start. Do you know what to do? They must start
being creative. Yes, indeed. Even one of our viewers here, Mr. Bismarck Bura, thank you so much. You've been writing to us and you're saying when materialism overpasses spiritualism in churches, then the sense of moral orientation is lost. The two must be balanced to make sense of belief in God. And also you're adding that a potential businessman needs to have a business mind. It is all about creativity, and some of our people simply lack that. Or just.
Thank you very much, Bismarck Bura. You have always been with us. You are constructive. You are not abusive. But those who have picked the story of Schwarzenegger and Arnold, it will show you that don't use money. Don't say you have too much. Tomorrow you will come back to these people and say, no, pay for the hotel room. In fact, some of those workers can have instruction from their boss to molest you. But Schwarzenegger said, okay, let me go and pick my bag and sleep in the statue that I built. So the economy of Kenya has oil. It has worked so well, the first shipment of oil. But remember, oil is a curse. My people of Kenya, take it seriously. that one day you might have the repercussions that we see in the Middle East if you are not careful, if you don't stop balkanizing this state into ethnic bases. I think you picked one word, balkanization of the state. Very important. You can't balkanize the state, then turn around and say, you will not be in the race. Because there are so many signals that can be seen. Things are hot. And the people are documenting some of the things that people are saying. It started like that. You have the governor, the senator of Nandi, bringing a bill in Parliament, in the Senate, that governors should be given immunity. Have you ever heard of that? That governors can also be given immunity like presidents to steal as much as they want. So we have a balkanized state. People thinking in ethnic enclaves instead of thinking about Kenya. Miriam, I don't know. We see on Sunday when we shall look at every African country. Pick, if you have a story on African country, what stood out for you in Africa on Sunday from 2 p.m. We are here. Otherwise, we wish you a good weekend. I want it over to Miriam to finalize this show. She has been great. We shall miss her from 30th. She will be off.
Yes.
And when we are returning, I'm here until you return. Then I also hand you over. Then
take a break.
Then I take a break.
That would be nice.
I've decided to do that because there's need for me to be talking to people, talking to those in Amazonia, talking to those in Nigeria, Biafra, talking to those in Libya, talking to those in Central African Republic, talking to those in Somalia, in Mogadishu, in Kismayo, in Baidora, talking to those in, above all, Burkina Faso. Over 21 people slaughtered, mostly women, by Islamic terrorists that have infiltrated Burkina Faso.
Actually, the number is recent to 35.
To 35.
Yes.
You have some African news.
And also...
Let's tackle them in a few minutes that are left, isn't it?
Well, yes. But also in Central African Republic, 30 people died. And also in Nigeria, 14 troops were killed. So it has been bloodshed over the Christmas period in different African countries.
Kenya, we have had good time over Christmas. We did not have...
No major incidences. So
I want to thank the ministry, the intelligence, the police, the civilians, the army, the multi-forces of this country for keeping this country safe. Those who did not go for their holiday, we thank you very much for keeping Kenya safe. We have not had major incidents that shake the world. Usually they happen at this hour. But don't give up. We haven't gone through yet. Because those evil men, dead people still plan up to today. May your strength continue to be guided by God's will, so that the security agencies, the intelligence system that gathers information about what might happen, what will happen, when it will happen. We want to thank you so much for having done a great job this year. Thank you.
Yes, indeed, and thank you so much, our viewers. So we'll see you here on Sunday as we have our last show, African Showdown 2019. We'll have so much in store for you, and we'll be looking at the news highlights that made up 2019 in different African countries. But for now, thank you so much for your company, and thank you so much for engaging with us. Let's see you on Sunday.
Thank you.